All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. You know, we've started this important, extensive chapter called Organic Chemistry. We had a good discussion on organic chemistry yesterday, in which we studied the introduction of organic, types of formulas, especially the most important one. The take of yesterday's class is how to draw the displayed formula, correct? In which you show every atom and every bond, and then where is our last there, organic. And yes, so we started with types of formulas, everyone. The structural formula and displayed formula. In displayed formula, you open the structure, you show every bond and every atom, and then the molecular formula, which tells you the total number of atoms, and also the empirical formula, which shows the simple but whole number ratio of atoms in a molecule. A homologous series, the most important one from this chapter, I mean the definition. A homologous series is a class of organic compounds that have the same functional group. It shows similar chemical properties. It shows a trend in physical properties. What are some of the features of homologous series? Homologous series is like a family with different compound within the family. So all member of the same family, which is homologous series, they have the same. What do they have the same? They have the same functional group. They shows similar chemical properties. They have the same general formula. They show a trend in their physical properties. And consecutive member, like अगर एक से आप next वाले में जा रहे हैं, तो they would differ by a group CH2 से would differ करेंगे. So all member of homologous series have the same functional group. भाई ये functional group क्या चीज है? It is an atom or group of atoms that imparts or decides chemical properties of a homologous series. हमारे सिलेबस में 4 functional groups है, ये हमने कल बताए थे आपको. Alkane is the only homologous series without a functional group. एक मिनट आप देखें प्लीज, अजान हो रही है. Functional groups देखेंगे सब लोग. All right. So I told you that alkane is the only homologous series without a functional group, right? Alkene is the homologous series with a double bond present between its atoms, right? There's a double bond for alkene. For alcohol, there is a presence of OH. You can see that whenever there is OH with any carbon chain, it would become an alcohol. Carboxylic acid have COOH and esters have just CO2 in the middle. We studied hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are of 2 types, the saturated and unsaturated. Saturated hydrocarbon are basically alkanes and unsaturated are alkenes. So what are saturated hydrocarbon? There's a class of hydrocarbon. ये कौन से hydrocarbons होते हैं? In which all carbon-carbon bonds are single covalent. In alkane, जितने भी carbon है 1, 2, 20, 100, their bond between carbon and other carbon and other carbon, it has to be single. एक फॉर्मूला है जो हमें बताएगा कि अगर आपके पास 10 कार्बन है तो हाइड्रोजन्स कितने होंगे, अगर 20 कार्बन है तो कितने हाइड्रोजन्स होंगे, which is called general formula. Now this N represents the carbon atom. जितने भी कार्बन्स होंगे हाइड्रोजन उसका डबल होंगे, और डबल के बाद क्या ऐड करना है आपने, 2 मोर देन डबल. सो N का 2N प्लस 2. फॉर इंस्टेंस मैंने कहा अगर आपके पास एक कार्बन है तो एक का डबल क्या होता है, 2. तो 2 में 2 ऐड करेंगे 4. सो वट एवर द कार्बन, हाइड्रोजन्स आर डबल and then 2 more than double. For example, you have 2 carbons. So 2 का double क्या है, 4, और 4 में 2 add करो 6. So we have first 4 members part of our syllabus: methane, ethane, propane, and butane. Meth, eth, prop, but is due to their carbon atoms, and ane is due to the homologous series from which they belong. They belong to alkane family. Why and how do we know it belong to alkane family? बिकॉज ये इसी फॉर्मूला को फॉलो कर रहे हैं. अगर आप गौर से देखो तो ये जो है ये इसी फॉर्मूला को में फिट आ रहा है. कैसे, एक कार्बन है, एक का डबल 2 और 2 में 2 ऐड करो 4. वट एवर द कार्बन एटम इज, हाइड्रोजन्स आर डबल एंड देन 2 मोर. So in our syllabus we have 4 alkanes. What is alkene? Alkene is hydrocarbon that have a double bond between carbon atoms. Its general formula is exactly 1:2. No matter how many carbon do you have, hydrogens are exactly double. N and 2N. CnH₂n. लेकिन इसमें अच्छी चीज ये है कि इसकी N value starts with 2. N cannot be 0 here because इसकी condition ये है कि there has to be double bond between carbon atoms. तो between carbon का मतलब है there has to be at least 2 carbon to have a double bond. So if there is a double bond, it should be named as eth, 3 prop, 4 but. Look at the carbon hydrogen ratio: 2 and 4, 3 and 6, 4 and whatever the carbon, if the hydrogens are exactly double, it is alkene, it is unsaturated. 2 carbon eth, 3 prop and but. Ene is because it has a double bond, it belongs to this family. Let's begin with alkane, everyone. Making of alkane. I hope you all are ready. Making, भाई बनते कैसे हैं, making of alkanes. So alkanes बनाने के लिए हमारे पास 2 methods है. One is called cracking. Important definition है, please सब लोग लिखेंगे. So cracking is what? It's the breakdown of large हाइड्रोकार्बन्स. अच्छा, जो लार्ज हाइड्रोकार्बन है असल में वो भी एल्केन्स ही है. मजे की बात ये है, द ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ लार्ज एल्केन्स, लार्ज हाइड्रोकार्बन इनटू स्मॉलर more useful alkene and hydrogen gas under high temperature and pressure. भाई क्रैकिंग क्या होती है? सिंपल क्रैकिंग वर्ड से ही आपको पता चल रहा है ना. इट इज द ब्रेकडाउन. किस चीज की ब्रेकडाउन? लार्ज चेन हाइड्रोकार्बन इनटू स्मॉलर मोर यूजफुल. क्योंकि मैंने अभी आपको कल बताया था जैसे ही कार्बन चेन बढ़ेगी, मुझे बताओ आई हैव 2 हाइड्रोकार्बन. प्लीज लुक एट दिस. आई हैव 2 कार्बन्स. पहले तो मुझे बताओ इफ दिस इज एल्केन, हाउ मेनी हाइड्रोजन शुड आई अटैच विद दिस C18 इफ दिस इज एल्केन? And how many hydrogen should I attach here if both are alkanes? How do you know? And how many hydrogen and carbon would be there? Anyone in the class?
Sir, multiplied by 2 and then add 2?
That's it. I mean, multiply by 2 would be, kitne ho gaye? 36 and 38. And then multiply by 2 would be 4. And then add 2. The question is, the real question is, which one is more flammable, C18 or C2? Which one is more flammable?
C18.
Why, Zoya? Excellent. Zoya said C18 is more flammable because it has more carbons. Yes.
No, because it has more hydrogen and hydrogen is flammable.
Excellent. Now let's look at this refinery to understand that which one is more flammable. Let's go back to the first lesson of organic to see. मैंने आपको बताया था as you go top to bottom in this column, carbon chain is increasing. The one on the top has the lowest number of carbon. नीचे आ रहे हो carbon chain बढ़ रही है. Carbon chain is increasing, density is increasing, boiling point is increasing. The only factor that decreases is what? क्या लिखा हुआ है सामने? Flammability decreases. इसका मतलब ये है कि higher the carbons, lesser the flammability. ये बताया था आपको. Make sense everyone? So please आपको पता होना चाहिए कि जो बड़े साइज के हाइड्रोकार्बन्स होते हैं, they have more carbon atom, they are less flammable. If they are less flammable, they are not good for, उनकी बड़ी ज्यादा large hydrocarbon are not that useful because हमें तो वो चीज चाहिए जो जल्दी से बर्न होके हमें एनर्जी प्रोवाइड करे. So we crack the larger hydrocarbon into the smaller one, which are more useful, highly flammable, produces more energy. So why cracking is done? Cracking is done to break down the larger hydrocarbon into smaller but more useful. Smaller वाले ज्यादा वो पूछेगा why there's a need to crack. So why cracking is required? Why cracking is used even? Smaller chain heights, so smaller chain hydrocarbons are more useful and in high demand. अगर ज्यादा यूजफुल है, ये क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था भाई अभी कुछ दिन पहले, and in high demand. So if they are more useful in high demand, तो हमें वही ज्यादा चाहिए ना. जब हम नीचे से डायरेक्ट पंप करते हैं तो हमें छोटे वाले भी आते हैं, बड़े वाले भी आते हैं. अब छोटे वाले तो हमारे काम के हैं, बड़े वाले तो काम के ही नहीं है. तो we crack the larger chain to compensate the high demand of the smaller chain hydrocarbon. Smaller chain hydrocarbon are more useful in high demand. So to compensate the high demand, cracking is used. Does it make sense, everyone? So cracking is done using high temperature and pressure, using catalyst silica or alumina. तो कैटलिस्ट भी मैं लिख देता हूँ, पूछता कम है लेकिन पूछ भी तो सकता है ना. इसमें कैटलिस्ट कौन सा यूज करते हैं? alumina / silica. So one thing is to make smaller alkane is cracking, which is used to break the larger chain hydrocarbon into smaller, more useful alkane. The other one is from alkenes. So you have alkene, you add hydrogen into it, you will get alkane. I said this reaction takes place in the presence of nickel / platinum, 200 to 300 degrees or 2 atm pressure में चल जाएगा. अब name any alkene, anyone in the class. For example, ethene, 2 carbon है और carbon 4 bond बनाता है, 2 hydrogens हैं, इसके साथ 2 hydrogens के साथ. This is ethene, which is also alkene क्योंकि double bond है. Let's add hydrogen. Hydrogen का formula क्या? Who knows the formula of hydrogen?
H2.
H2. Excellent. तो H2 का मतलब है 2 atoms of hydrogen. मैं तो आपको ओपन करके बता रहा हूँ, आप जब लिखेंगे तो हम बताएंगे कैसे लिखा. तो when there is a double bond there, you can add 1 atom with this carbon and 1 atom with this carbon because there is still space. आप ऐड कर सकते हैं. देखो जब आपने एक हाइड्रोजन उसको दिया और एक इसके पास तो पहले से 2 हाइड्रोजन थे, इस कार्बन के पास भी पहले से 2 हाइड्रोजन थे ना, दोनों के पास 2 हाइड्रोजन तो पहले से हैं. अब एक हाइड्रोजन इसको मिल गया, एक इसको मिल गया, तो ये डबल बॉन्ड अभी भी उधर ही रहेगा. कंसिडरिंग दैट कार्बन कैन फॉर्म ओनली 4 बॉन्ड, तो डबल बॉन्ड क्या हो जाएगा? इट विल ब्रेक एंड इट विल लेफ्ट ओनली एज 1 सिंगल बॉन्ड. सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन ऐड. मैं यहाँ पे इक्वेशन लिख देता हूँ. नॉर्मल इक्वेशन कैसे लिखेंगे? C2H4 reacts with H2 कंडीशंस आपको बता दी हैं। निकल महंगा होता है, यूज निकल करते हैं, प्लाटिनम इज एक्सपेंसिव बट यू कैन यूज 2 to 300 डिग्रीज और 2 atm प्रेशर। तो दिस विल बी एडेड, तो ये बन जाएगा C2H6। ये हाइड्रोजन इसके अंदर ऐड कर दिया ना हमने। तो ये अगर वो आपसे पूछे, देखो इसमें 2 रिएक्टेंट्स, कितने रिएक्टेंट्स हैं शामीन? 2 रिएक्टेंट्स, 2 रिएक्टेंट्स, हाउ मेनी प्रोडक्ट्स? 1 product. Whenever 2 reactants react to form 1 product only, always an addition reaction. आपसे पूछेगा भाई ये एडिशन है, बताओ क्यों एडिशन है? एडिशन का मतलब कोई चीज रिप्लेस नहीं की हमने, रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं है, ये कंबस्शन भी नहीं की, हमने एक चीज, 2 चीजों को ऐड कर दिया। एडिशन की आइडेंटिफिकेशन ये है कि 2 रिएक्टेंट रिएक्ट्स टू फॉर्म 1 प्रोडक्ट ओनली। So this is an addition reaction and this is alkane, of course, which forms 1 product only. Please check this reaction. इसको नोट करें सब लोग। Let me know if you need further explanation. Done. अच्छा, what is the, भाई हम ये रिएक्शन अगर करते हैं तो इसकी इंडस्ट्रियल इंपॉर्टेंस क्या, क्या मुसीबत पड़ी हमें ये रिएक्शन करने, करते क्यों है? क्यों हम 2 to 300 डिग्री, 2 atm निकल एन एक्सपेंसिव मेटल एज अ कैटलिस्ट? सो एक तो ये है कि ये जो एल्कीन थी, ये C2H4 वाज एल्कीन और इसको हमने एल्केन में चेंज कर दिया। बेसिकली ये इथीन थी, इसको इथेन में चेंज कर दिया। लेकिन ये इसको इंडस्ट्रियली कहाँ यूज करते हैं? प्लीज लिसन। बेसिकली ये जो एल्कीन है ना, ये अनसैचुरेटेड है, हाइड्रोकार्बन, तो हमने एल्केन सैचुरेटेड है, हाइड्रोकार्बन। सो बेसिकली हुआ ये है कि दिस, इन दिस रिएक्शन you've converted your unsaturated hydrocarbon into a saturated one by the addition of hydrogen. ऐसे ही किया हमने। अब जो अनसैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन होता है ना बेटे, ये वेजिटेबल ऑयल होते हैं, वेजिटेबल ऑयल। तो इंडस्ट्री में दिस रिएक्शन इज यूज्ड टू कन्वर्ट वेजिटेबल ऑयल इनटू मार्जरीन, ये जो बटर वगैरह खाते हैं, या इसको घी भी कहते हैं। सो इंडस्ट्रियली इट इज यूज्ड टू कन्वर्ट ऑयल इनटू घी, दैट इज द इंडस्ट्रियल इंपॉर्टेंस। एंड व्हाट इज ऑयल? ऑयल इज अनसैचुरेटेड। ऑयल क्या है? ऑयल इज अनसैचुरेटेड एंड margarine is saturated. ये लिख भी दिया, आपको सामने नजर आ रहा हो। So the second extremely important reaction of alkene is alkene reacts with hydrogen to form alkane. तो alkane की formation के 2 मेथड है, cracking of large chain hydrocarbon और hydrogenation या addition of alkene. Hydrogenation का मतलब है addition of hydrogen to alkene to form alkane. In this reaction you need 2 to 300 degree temperature. You need nickel and platinum as catalyst, and it is an addition reaction. Why it is an addition reaction? अगर आपसे वो पूछे कि भाई ये addition है, बताएं ये क्यों addition reaction है? So why is this reaction as an addition reaction? Iman, शाबाश। Yes, Zoya. Why this reaction is addition?
Because only one product is formed.
Yes, excellent. But आपने बताना है 2 reactants reacts to form 1 product only. Whenever there is 1 product, it is always an addition reaction. Iman, make sense? Yes.
Yes.
Good. So वो आपसे इसकी condition पूछेगा and वो आपसे पूछ सकता है what is the industrial importance? भाई, where this reaction is used on industrial level? It is used to convert vegetable oil into margarine an industrial scale, and that is it as far as the making of alkane is concerned. Now we have chemical reaction of alkane. आज हमने alkane तो complete करना है ना यार, in fact alkene भी करना है थोड़ा सा। Chemical reactions of alkane, there are only 2 reactions, super easy. The first reaction is combustion. Because whenever you burn something, that reaction is called combustion. But the more good thing is combustion always takes place in the presence of oxygen. So there is a variety in combustion, you know. You have complete combustion, which happens in the presence of excess oxygen, and you may experience incomplete combustion, which takes place in limited oxygen. So if there is lesser oxygen, it will be incomplete. If there is excess oxygen, there will be complete combustion. A complete combustion of alkane, alkene, alcohol, koi bhi cheez hai, it always give you CO2 and water. And incomplete combustion always produces CO2 and water. You can balance every equation afterwards. So combustion is of two types always, a complete and incomplete. Complete combustion will give you carbon dioxide. What type of gas carbon dioxide is? What type? पिछले दिनों किया हमने carbon dioxide. What type of gas is this? Excellent. It's a greenhouse gas. But what type of gas CO is?
Toxic gas.
It's a toxic gas. Okay. The other reaction, bete, of alkane is called substitution of alkane with halogen. अच्छा, आप लोगों ने एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा when there is no actual teacher, is absent, so there is a substitute teacher. The substitution का easy words में मतलब है replacement. So here we are not going to add anything. It's not addition reaction because alkane always give substitution. In alkane you cannot add because there is no further, you know, कोई vacancy नहीं है addition होने की. For example, let's say I have CH4. It has 4 bonds already, all are single. There is no chance of addition. अगर कुछ चीज add करूंगा तो उसका तो 5th bond बन जाएगा. 5 bond for alkane is not possible. For carbon is not possible. Imagine you have methane and you react it with chlorine, for example. So what happens? Basically, this chlorine substitute this hydrogen, and this hydrogen substitute the chlorine. ऐसे कर लो इसको. Substitution हो जाएगी. Hydrogen is replaced by the chlorine. Hydrogen is replaced by the chlorine. This reaction does not proceed but in the presence of UV light. In the absence of UV light, there is no substitution in the dark. To proceed this reaction, there must be presence of light. That is why it is also known as photochemical reaction. Why it is called photochemical? Anyone in the class? Why it is called photochemical? Shabash. Because it needs any reaction that needs light is called photochemical. Since this requires UV light, it is photochemical. So देखो, we replace one hydrogen, so carbon is now left with 3 hydrogens, and this hydrogen is replaced with Cl, and the other chlorine is bonded to hydrogen that was kicked by the chlorine. So how do you write it in simple words? CH4 react with chlorine in the presence of UV to get you CH3 and then Cl and then HC. Make sense, everyone? But you can replace the next carbon hydrogen as well. Like let's say we have CH3Cl. You react it with chlorine, so the other hydrogen is replaced. Now we have 2 hydrogens, and it will be replaced by the chlorine. So you'll have 2 chlorines and HCl. So you can replace all the hydrogen until all hydrogen are replaced by the chlorine. But it go one by one. So to replace one hydrogen, we need 1 chlorine molecule, right? To replace other chlorine, we need other chlorine. Other hydrogen, we need other chlorine. So this is called substitution. Alkanes give only substitution reaction. Combustion तो हर किसी की हो सकती है ना. Alkanes give substitution. Alkenes give addition. भाई ये alkane का reaction सबको समझ आ गए? The combustion, there is a variety in combustion. The complete and incomplete combustion, right? So complete combustion produces CO2 and water. Incomplete combustion produces CO and water. And substitution is replacement. The condition is UV light, act as a catalyst, provide the required amount of energy to the reaction. Let's talk about alkenes now. तक तो नहीं गए आप लोग? Alkenes. इसका मतलब आप लोग नहीं थक. Alkenes are unsaturated. They have general formula CnH₂n. They give addition reactions. And बस ये इनकी थोड़ी सी बातें आपको पता होनी चाहिए. Okay, let's first understand the making of alkenes. Alkene बनते कहाँ से? और वो हम पढ़ चुके हैं. The only method that make alkene is called cracking. So cracking produce smaller alkene, smaller alkenes. Alkene भी बताया था ना? And hydrogen gas. So क्योंकि alkene बनता है cracking से, तो that is the one method. अच्छा, इसके 4 reactions है हमारे syllabus में, extremely important. Number 1, reaction of alkene with steam. In this reaction, you get alcohol because addition है तो एक ही बनेगा. The other reaction is basically, इधर example लिख देते हैं. Let's say you have C2H4 ethene. What is the formula of steam? Steam का क्या formula होता है? Steam H2O ही होता है. Steam H2O gas. So ये let's say ethene है, ये steam है. You react them. So this will be added C2H5 and OH. This is ethene and this is ethanol. So basically आपने add कर दिया, but this addition is not as easy as you can look at the screen. This addition takes place in the presence of 200 degrees, 60 atm, and phosphoric acid as catalyst. So extremely important conditions, please. It required 200 degrees, 60 atm, and phosphoric acid as catalyst. So whenever you react, you add. It is also an addition reaction because 2 reactant reacts to form 1 product only, and that is ethanol. If you start with propene, you will get propanol. You start with butene, you will get butanol. But the fact is, 1 hydrogen is added here. ये H5 हो जाएगा, और जो OH बचेगा, you can write OH like this. Make sense, everyone? पहला reaction सबको समझ आ गया? Okay. The other reaction is, which is extremely important, reaction of alkene with bromine. And you will get basically bromine add हो जाएगी, तो इसको हम halogen कहते हैं. आपको ये नाम याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, बस ये reaction extremely important है. किस वजह से? ये तो आपको पता चल गया ना, ये reaction हम क्यों करते हैं. It is used to make ethanol and dust. वो पूछेगा it is इसकी industrial importance क्या है? भाई अल्कोहल बना रहे हैं इससे, हम नहीं बना रहे, जो भी लोग बनाते हैं. Okay, alkene. Let's say आपको given है 2 different test tubes. Important explanation, everyone. You are given with 2 different test tubes, and both are liquid, colorless liquid maybe. देखो on paper तो it is easy to distinguish between alkane and alkene के सर यहाँ पे double bond है, ये alkene है, यहाँ single है, it is N. लेकिन actual में तो these are molecules ना, solutions होते हैं, gases होती हैं, liquids होते हैं. How do you know whether there is a single bond? You can't see the bond inside the water. Actual water में तो इसमें कोई bond नजर नहीं आएंगे ना आपको. Structure तो हम बना के दिखा सकते हैं. So how do you distinguish whether the molecule given is alkane or alkene? So imagine you're given with 2 solutions, right? And you've been asked to identify whether it is unsaturated or saturated. You will add bromine aqueous, few drops here and few drops here. Bromine का color होता है brown, and here the brown, यहाँ पे कोई change नहीं है, no change. If the brown color of bromine remains unchanged, it means that is saturated. that is a saturated hydrocarbon. If the brown color uska goes colorless, that means the added substance is unsaturated, which means saturated का मतलब क्या होना चाहिए? Alkane, और unsaturated का क्या मतलब है? Alkene. So this is an extremely important reaction which help you. For example, C2H4 है, आपने bromine add की. No condition is required, just room temperature and pressure. It will be added. Br2 will be added, you know, and if it is added, that means the brown color will goes colorless. अगर brown colorless होता है तो इसका मतलब वो unsaturated है और वो alkene है. भाई सबको समझ आ गई? अगर वो ऐड नहीं होता तो ब्राउन कलर ब्राउन ही रहेगा, तो इसका मतलब वो एल्कीन नहीं है, वो एल्केन है. तो दिस इज यूज्ड टू डिस्टिंग्विश दिस टेस्ट. दिस ब्रोमीन वाटर या एक्वस ब्रोमीन टेस्ट is used to distinguish between unsaturated and saturated hydrocarbon. भाई सबको समझ आ गई बात? Why this is important? Correct? Okay. Next reaction, third वे last है, उसके बाद एक तो हमने कर लिया हुआ. थर्ड रिएक्शन है, वो भी हमने कर लिया हुआ. एल्कीन प्लस हाइड्रोजन, ये भी करवाया आपको. एल्कीन में हाइड्रोजन ऐड करोगे तो यू विल गेट एल्केन. निकल चाहिए, प्लाटिनम चाहिए, 2 to 300 डिग्री चाहिए, और 2 ATM चाहिए. ये तो करवा दिया. लास्ट रिएक्शन वो भी कर लिया, कंबस्शन. So alkane or alkene की combustion are identical. Complete will give you CO2 and water. Incomplete will give you CO and water. Makes sense, everyone? So today we started with, you know, making of alkanes. Extremely important lessons जो आज का था. Cracking is the breakdown of large hydrocarbon into smaller, more useful under high temperature and pressure. Now, the other method to make alkane is using alkene. React alkene with hydrogen and it will be added in the presence of nickel or platinum to give you alkane. This is extremely important on industrial scale because it is used to convert vegetable oil into ghee. Vegetable oil are unsaturated alkenes and ghee is saturated alkane. और मैंने आपको बता दिया कि एडिशन रिएक्शन है क्योंकि एक ही प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है. फिर इसके केमिकल रिएक्शन पड़े. alkane give combustion, variety in combustion, substitution, condition is extremely important, and then there is alkene, unsaturated CnH₂n, addition reaction देगा ये, और बनती है ये. एक ही मेथड है इसका हमारे सिलेबस में, वो है क्रैकिंग. लेकिन इसके 4 रिएक्शंस हैं, इनफैक्ट यही 2 हैं, बाकी 2 तो हम पहले भी पढ़ चुके थे. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट यही वाला, इससे सबसे पहले करवाया. कोई भी alkene act में react with steam under 200 degrees, 60 ATM, phosphoric acid catalyst, addition reaction, alkene added into steam to give you alcohol. और उसके बाद this reaction which is used to distinguish between saturated and unsaturated, the test is called bromine water test. Bromine is actually brown. जब वो आप उसमें डालोगे तो अगर तो brown ही रहेगा तो वो saturated है, alkane है. If the brown color turns colorless, so that is unsaturated alkene. And these 2 reactions we already did. Combustion is same. alkene वाला हमने पढ़ चुका है कि alkene के अंदर hydrogen ऐड करोगे तो alkane होगा. See you tomorrow, everyone, with alcohols, inshallah. कल हम alcohol start करेंगे, and then of course 2-3 more lessons on organic, and then we'll do spare a complete week, entire week on the past papers for a clear and better understanding, inshallah. Take care, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Allah Hafiz.